Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday.
We're back. How's it going? I'm
Nika
Nika,
Domi
and I'm
still
still
here?
filling in for James. And he'll be back on Friday. Oh.
Yeah, so the Fed cut rates.
That's the big thing today.
First cut, yeah. So, look, we're going to talk about a lot of these things, but what I noticed that about 10 minutes after they cut, the market was just sort of sitting there, and all of a sudden, it's accelerated to the downside. It's really dropped.
Started flooding.
Look, you know, German rates are continuing to drop into more negative territory. It's interesting times. You know, maybe if the world is slowing down, there's not a lot of things that they can do to try and prevent that from happening.
A little bit of a mess. Well, what's coming up on the show today? Let's see. We have a news with Suzanne Garcia. We have Brad Kerr of Great Northern Brands.
I interviewed him earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. And we have lots to talk about these political things that affect the markets. That's the big thing today.
Sorry? So why don't we take a look at the S&P right now? I want to do that. I'll put up a chart here.
While you do that, I'm going to look at who is here with us today.
That's a good idea.
Where's our peeps?
Well, it came off sharply, but it looks like it's starting to rebound. It looks like the S&P was down about 50, 60 points at one time. Now it's only down 30 points, which is still a big drop, well below 3,000. Just a second here. I don't know if this thing's going to roll over. I doubt it's going to happen. But, you know, we've obviously, there's a trend here, and the trend's been breached to some degree. Probably early to tell. But if this thing starts to gain momentum to the downside, it could be pretty wild. Let's take a look at
craziness.
Yeah.
And I just want to say hi to Travis is in the chat room. And whoever has any questions and comments, please put it down in the chat room. We'll be checking it out all through the show. Any tickers you want to ask us, type them into the chat room. We'll be glad to take a look.
Yeah, so I just put up a chart here of some of these big stocks in the States just to see how they're reacting. Amazon, you know, back down to, looks like about is that 1870? Yeah, 1875. So Amazon, which is, you know, one of the really monster companies.
One of the biggest, yeah.
Yeah, so look, there, you know, you talk about these FANG stocks, but we had a major top there. It looked like it was rolling over. It came back, went a little higher.
Amazon.
It's starting to look to me like over a 1 or 2 year, we've got a top in here. And the point I'm just trying to make here is that some of these big stocks obviously have a major impact on the indices.
Yes.
And so
yes. Even Apple is.
Let's take a look. I want to look at Apple. Apple's a.
Yeah, right now it's at 214. It did take a dip with the news there. Also AMD, similar movement. I've been watching that AMD. It's been doing quite well recently.
Yeah.
So, how is it?
Yeah, I can't find
Did you find it yet? No? So
No, I can't.
where is our friends? So Travis is still here. So everybody, tell us what are you watching? What are your feelings? What are your concerns? I want to know. Your friendly neighborhood psychologist wants to know how you feel today.
Yeah, here's another company that it gets a lot of interest. But look at this is AMD. This is the one that you were talking about, advanced micro devices.
Yeah.
A year ago, we peaked here. There's a top there. There's a top there. You know, this market may be getting ready to roll over. So I think we got to be very careful. And if it starts to roll over because of weakness, it may be difficult to.
Do you think that today was kind of that
a watershed day?
Yeah, initiatory factor that happened to weaken it a bit?
Yeah. I kind of do, because I think when the Fed says, you know, this is the first time they've lowered rates. Rates could never get anywhere near what they used to get to. So we may be in this world where, you know, rates may become low. Rates may become a permanent fixture in today's world.
Wow.
Anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of things after the news. Sorry?
What a day today, huh?
Well, whatever the Fed, like, don't fight the Fed, right? That's why.
We're a little shook here by all this Fed action.
Well, you know, it's all good, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, it takes one tiny thing, and I mean, it's not tiny, but it is a one event, but you know, it looks like it's trying to pick it up a little bit. Like there's a green candle on AMD right now. I'm watching the minute chart myself here. I don't know why, but I always seem to watch the closer one, like the minute chart, the 5-minute charts.
You're a gambler, that's why.
No, I like to know the detail, right down to the minute.
Okay.
But, yeah, let's see. Who's in the chat room? Where's everybody today?
Yeah, everybody's.
I think they're still watching the news. I wonder what cannabis is doing. We've been talking a lot about gold and the feds and things, but I've seen some companies do really good today. It was Tetra Bio. I was just actually, I was looking at the Midas Letter Live Index, and Tetra Biopharma is up 17%. So even in the midst of all of this craziness, right, some companies have found a way to really surprise us today, right?
Yeah, so let me just, I've just been, I want to look at this VIX index, which is the volatility index of the sort of the U.S. equities, and this,
So it's VIX?
That's what they call it. Okay. That's what they call it, okay? This is, so I'm going to put up a one-year chart, and you can see today, look at this candle, this last candle. So something, again, this thing starts to really ratchet up when markets start to fall, and obviously markets have corrected back to the upside a bit, because this VIX now, look at this wick here. So it shot up, and it was looking like things were falling apart, and now, you know, it looks like buyers have come back into the market. So we'll see what happens.
What a quick action, right? You really
have to keep an eye on. You know what? I mean, when the Fed says we've cut rates for the first time in 11 years, and there'd likely be more cuts, it makes, maybe people are thinking, hey, maybe the big bull run here is over.
Wow, we have a viewer from Germany. That is amazing. So hello to you, SL from Germany. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
We just had somebody from Copenhagen, I think that was 2 days ago or yesterday.
Yeah,
now we have someone from Germany.
Truly an international show.
There you go. Hello, Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
So, you know what? We're going to go to the news. And Suzanne's going to give us the news, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Yep.
Here's a what's making cannabis news today. Chiron Life Sciences has received final approval from the TSX Venture Exchange to close its previously announced acquisition of Neta Growth International. Neta Growth owns all of the outstanding shares of a Uruguayan company, Dormal, and is a Latin America export-focused cannabis company based in Uruguay and is well positioned to serve Brazil and the growing Latin American market. Chiron issued 8.5 million common shares to the shareholders of Neta Growth at a deemed price of $1.61 per common share. Liberty Health Sciences released its Q1 2020 financials. Q1 revenue was $5.5 million. Gross profit was $2.2 million with 40% margin. Net loss was $3.2 million or a cent per share. Cash and cash equivalents at the end of Q1 were $5.4 million. TransCanna Holdings released its Q2 2019 financials. Net loss for the period was $3.9 million or 17 cents per share. Cash and cash equivalents at the end of Q2 were $2.2 million. G-Tech Holdings released its Q2 2019 financials. Q2 revenue was $109,000 and net loss was $2.3 million or 2 cents a share. Cash and cash equivalents at the end of Q2 were $2.2 million. Pantrust Holdings announced that the special committee of the company's board of directors has retained Greenhill & Co. Canada as the special committee's financial advisor to assist in the review of strategic alternatives. These alternatives could include the sale of the company, strategic investment, business combination, changes to the company's operations or strategy, or continuing to execute on the company's current business plan. There can be no assurance that the special committee's review of strategic alternatives will result in any transaction. Cannabis MedTech announced its intention to change its name to Eurolife Brands. The change is to better reflect the direction of the company's business activity. The company has secured the trading symbol Euro. The company will also be completing a subdivision of its issued and outstanding common shares on the basis of 4 new shares for every 1 share held. Fire & Flower Holdings Corp. will issue an aggregate of 615,058 common shares to holders of the company's 8% unsecured convertible debentures of an aggregate of $793,424.66 interest payable to the holders of the debentures. High Tide Inc. announced that its Canna Cabana retail store in Fort Saskatchewan received its first delivery of cannabis products from Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis. High Tide currently has 15 branded Canna Cabana locations selling recreational cannabis products across Canada. M. Hardeen Group, with its joint venture partner, the Chippeways of Rama First Nations, released designs of their 94,650 square foot cannabis campus to be located in the community of Rama, Ontario. The campus will be a combination of indoor greenhouse cultivation containing 6 cultivation rooms, a 5,500 square foot GMP certified extraction facility, a cannabis education center, retail dispensary, and 2 greenhouses producing extractable biomass. The combination facility is expected to be complete third quarter 2020. Produce a run rate of 3,800 kilograms of high-quality dry flower, 675 kilograms of bulk oil. True Leaf Cannabis Corp. opened the doors of a new Fernandina Beach location today. The new storefront marks the company's 30th location, a record for Florida's dispensaries. And that's your news for today. If you want to hear more on wheat stocks, check out the Cannabis Daily at MidasLetter.com.
Let's talk about Aurora. Recently, your financials, you more or less delivered on
Here are the headlines moving markets today.
If you're lucky to buy it 3 days ago at 37 cents,
and I think it has a lot to do with some of these smaller names giving really...
Recreational cannabis is here. It's
quite dry. So I'm going to eliminate the stocky bits.
Well, we've been hearing lots of news about cannabis, but I think one of the big stories today is the fact the Fed in the U.S. did cut a 1/4 point and hinted that more cuts could follow. Now, do you know that's the first interest rate cut since 2008?
Interesting. Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting interest rates.
Interesting interest rates. So look, that has unbelievable implications. I mean, now they're talking Germany just, I guess,
Something in Germany also,
they issued
right?
bond. They're always, all these countries are always issuing bonds, and the Bund, they call them Bunds in Germany, B-U-N-D. The rate, the fresh rate on that yield is minus 0.4. Minus 0.4. So, you know, is this all happening because, you know, the world is slowing down?
The economies?
You know, they're talking about a lot of funny things going on. I mean, you know, they're saying sales of article came out recently. Sales of high-priced cars from Germany are falling off. They're coming. They're slowing down quickly. Okay, so what you know, who knows? Who knows? But yeah. So
it's all connected in some way.
Well,
right?
sure, it's all connected.
Sometimes we get a little stuck in our own little world, but we don't think that the macro level really is what steers and drives everything, right?
You know, I mean, it does and it doesn't. I wanted to point out. I got a one-day chart. Yeah, here we go. Year Bund yield hits record low on week data, month-end dash. You know, rates keep falling. I don't know if we know what that means, because they're negative. They're negative. You give people your money, and they give you less back. Like, duh. Here, can you give me some money, please?
Yeah.
Nika, because I want to give you less
and
back.
For that transaction,
give me $10. I'll give you $9.50 back right away. I mean,
oh, man.
Anyway, let's put up quickly this chart here of gold.
Look at that.
This is since 2 o'clock. This is since 2 o'clock. This is live. You know, it's obviously very volatile. Interest rates affect the price of gold.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, gold's been moving up. Gold. They're talking about a great new bull market in gold. And gold is in Canadian dollars, it's the highest it's ever been.
Really.
So if you're producing gold, you're getting a good return from it. Yeah, it's very volatile. So
interesting.
I'm just going to look at, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the effect on the U.S. stock market here. So let's just put up an S&P chart. SPX. Wow, this is live too. This just happened. All of a sudden, the S&P index.
Oh man.
So you know, you got to be careful, because it's only like a 14-point drop.
Yeah.
But something happened here in the last couple minutes, and the S&P index was over 3,000, and that 3,000 number is a sort of a fresh new high number all time, and it's not really roaring away from it like I thought it might. And today, by the rates cut, and they're hinting at more cuts. Why are they cutting rates? Because maybe they want to try and stimulate again. And you know, the market's selling off, so we may be in a bit of a caught between a rock and a hard spot.
Oh my goodness.
The rock being gold, and the hard spot is something else. I think the rock is gold, okay? And because you can't print it, we talked about this yesterday.
Only the earth can make gold.
Yeah, well, that's actually the only place. It only comes from an exploded star. It really, that's the only place where the temperature can get hot enough to create certain elements.
Yes.
So you know, when you're talking about gold, and gold's quoted in U.S. dollars.
Yeah. What does that mean about other currencies then?
Like, and most currencies have been weak against the U.S. dollar.
Right.
So that means that when you convert, like in Canada, the price is at record highs for Canadian producers. When you exchange the U.S. dollar into Canadian, the price, I think, now is north of, you know, whatever the conversion rate, 1900. I saw an article earlier, somebody tweeted me. So you know, for if you're in Canada and you're producing gold, you've never gotten a better price. And I think, like for instance, when they said the other day, The British pound is at a 10-year low against the U.S. dollar. It's the same thing. That means that if you want to buy gold and you're living in England, it's going to cost you more money because your currency's dropped. Anything quoted in U.S. dollars is going to become more expensive. Now, if you already got it, that's great. Okay, so this pretty well applies, all around.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And silver. I looked at the chart of silver last night.
Are they comparable as well? Do they kind of go together?
Well, they do. They do. They're the silver. The name for money is argent in French, argent, Argent, and
that means silver.
That means silver. Argentina.
Oh,
the land of silver.
Exactly.
Okay, so silver has been money, gold is money, and when you got these governments printing, it becomes a bit of a joke, and that the hard money people. No, you can't do that with gold.
Right. Yeah.
So I think
gold is a really interesting commodity.
Yeah, and there are amazing properties to these elements.
Well, I know something about that. Did you know that we, in our person's body, we actually have 0.2 milligrams of gold?
I know, but how can we take that out and sell it? I don't think we can.
You don't want to sell it because it gives you energy.
Gold fillings.
Well, that's
then you've got
good
more
for
gold.
you.
Then you got more gold. Yeah.
Gold is a great energy conductor. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and rare, right?
Very, yeah.
And joining me now, we have Brad Kerr, who's the co-CEO of Great Northern Brands.
Excellent.
Brad, how you doing?
Doing wonderful. Thanks, Ed.
Now, when I think of, we the North, we think of Canada, but you're going a little higher.
We are.
And that was a pun with the higher. Okay, so you're in Alaska.
We are. We started in 2015 in Alaska, and with our first store in 2017.
So was it legal in Alaska? When was it? When did the legal?
2015 is when the market opened up in Alaska.
And you were there.
We were there. The company was founded by Steve Brashear, and he had
he's your president.
He's our chairman and president, and he had a fantastic vision for where this whole industry was going. Is he from
Alaska?
No, he's actually from the south. It's South U.S. But he saw the opportunity of Alaska.
So why Alaska?
Alaska is kind of unique. A lot of people forget that it's even there, and we have to actually remind people that it is part of the U.S., but it's got terrific fundamentals. It's actually the second highest per capita consumption of cannabis in the entire country.
Is California the first?
Oregon is the first.
That's where James West is right now in Oregon.
There you go.
With his brother and family. Now I guess it gets Alaska is up there quite a way. So in the summer, you get light 24.
Just about 24. Yeah.
Just about.
The market's huge. I mean, when you include tourism in there, you get over 4 million people. That is a target market for us, and the market size itself is over $50 million just in cannabis.
Tourism would be the main would be summer. I would probably think, right?
Primarily, yes.
Yeah, because it's pretty dark in.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. So now this is a fully operating company. So how many locations do you have in Alaska?
We have several retail locations as well as cultivation and manufacturing, and we're growing significantly in the order of 200% to 300% per year over year. So things are doing very, very well, and we're very pleased.
And you're throwing off cash.
I think, you know what, that is probably the most important thing that we can focus on with the business. Unlike other companies out there that, you know, they're looking at revenues or they're looking at a land grab, it's not what we're about. We are about building a fundamental business that's going to not only so we can produce our own products, so we understand that the product that we're delivering to the customer is consistent,
Right.
but it's also about profits. Because if we're not delivering profits, we're not delivering value to our investors.
Yeah, that's refreshing to hear. So I looked at the presentation. I see you threw off some cash in 17. You threw out more cash in 18.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you're on track to throw off substantially more again in 19.
Absolutely, and the forecast continues to grow, and I think it's based on the simple fact that you know, we know what we're doing. We're what we like to say is we're retailers first. We're business people first.
Right.
It just happens to be that we're selling cannabis as our product.
Right. Yeah, and I notice you've got a product there, and I can't remember. Purple, is that
Purple
right?
haze.
Purple haze is my brain, but it's the names are catchy. Mimosa is another product. I've got there we go. Tundra Berry.
Tundra Berry. It's
This is your
this is our
flagship?
product. It is our premium product. It's we as soon as we grow it, we can't keep it in stock. It's gone. It's sold out instantly.
Can this only where you grow this up at one of your
Correct. In our cultivation facility in Alaska,
Right,
where
right.
we grow it. Yep. And we've got
Wow.
We've got some terrific people who look after our cultivation facilities. We actually have several cultivation.
Yeah.
And we've put in place some excellent standard operating procedures to make sure that our quality is consistent. You know, there's a lot of problems out in the industry right now where you've
Right.
got a lot of mold and pests and problems like that. We grow everything indoors to control all of that, so our product quality is extremely high.
Yeah, so you told me earlier you have about 40 different products already?
We do. We do.
40, and so the 5 here, I'm just going to read them off quickly. Tundra Berry, Purple Trainwreck, what a great name. Chernobyl, that's phenomenal. Mimosa, and the last one here, Bear Spray, which is a oil-based lubricant.
It is. THC based.
THC based. Wow. And so you obviously are having success, and obviously you want to take that success and apply it to other parts of the world.
Absolutely. You know, the most important thing that we're focusing on right now is the Alaska market. We want to build that out, and we
Right.
want to make sure that we're the dominant player. By next year, we should have about 40% of the market, and that's through a combination of organic growth, through our own retail expansion, as well as through acquisitions. We just opened our own edibles and manufacturing facility, and we're continuing to expand our footprint in Alaska. Once that's established, which will be, you know, sometime next year,
Right.
we're very quickly going to be looking at strategic markets outside of Alaska, and we're going to pick and choose which ones are the best, so that we can take not only our strains and our technology, but also our retail experience, which is absolutely unique and critical to our success. And we'll take it and we'll dominate each of the markets that we then go into.
Yeah, the management team seems to be very experienced here. That's the feeling I get.
You're absolutely right, and when we have a large management team, but they're varied in what they are capable of doing. Not only is it the cultivation and the processing experience, but
Right.
they've also got experience global retail, branding and marketing, business development, and most importantly, capital markets. Because if you don't have the money to fund your growth, you're going to be in trouble.
Sure. So does your competition in Alaska? Are they calling you up and wanting to join you, or like?
They are, absolutely. One of the interesting things that we like to talk about is how the staff at our competitors' stores, they actually come to our stores to buy their product, because we have great selection, great service, and great prices. So it's a nice little feather in our cap.
Right. And you want to go beyond, and we had a conversation earlier, and you said you thought that the things are moving pretty fast in the States in terms of maybe federal legalization.
I think so. You know, there's a lot of debate about what is going to happen over the next year. I think there's a lot of initiatives happening, and
Sure.
I think we're going to start to see something happen very quickly, possibly by the next year's election.
Right.
That would be wonderful, and I think it's really going to open the market. But I think the market itself, what it's really craving for right now is some kind of consistent and dependable experience, not only the shopping experience, but also the products itself. You know, if you look at the black market, there's just customers are just not safe. So what we did is we said this is not the right way to buy product. So we redesigned the entire retail experience. So when customers come in, our stores are light, they're bright, and they're safe. We don't have blacked out windows, they're open, see-through, huge digital displays to show off our product, and our staff are highly trained so that they can help customers.
I thought I was in Yorkville. I thought,
yeah, similar kind of experience.
No, but it looks like hip.
Yes.
You know, that's, I guess, sort of a...
Right.
Yeah, interesting. So you're going to become the biggest in Alaska, then you're going to move into other places in the United States. Do you plan to come into Canada, for instance?
We do. We've got plans in place for various regions that we're looking at doing. A lot of it's going to depend on timing and depending on how we feel we can become a dominant player in each of those regions. What we're not trying to do is have massive coverage across the whole U.S. by having one store here and another store there. What we want to do is focus on localized expertise and localized branding.
How many shareholders do you have?
We have
approximately.
We have a variety. It's several dozen is where we're right now.
And how many times have you raised money, like from and privately? Like, did you just do the one raise, or you've done several? We've
done several private raises, and we're just in the process of doing another one.
Can you say how much money you've raised so far?
I can't.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Your private company. Listen, you've got to strategize. And I respect that. Mm-hmm. But you do plan on going public?
It's one of the options that we're looking at. And I think it's important not only from a credibility point of view, but also to have access to additional funding so that we can continue to grow ourselves internationally. But it's one of the options that we're looking at. Right.
Now, do you have any debt, any significant debt in the company?
We do not.
So you're totally debt-free?
Debt-free. What we're focused on is making sure that the investors get, solid value for their investments.
Yeah. No, it's a great story. It's a great story. It seems like you got great products. You got international advisory team. You're making money. I'm always looking at things and saying, how big can this get? How big can this space get? You're in a better position to answer that one. I mean,
it's a great question, and I think the market we've just scratched the surface on where this whole industry can go. There's definitely some work that has to get done. There's definitely some more regulations that have to, unfortunately, get put in place, even though I hate to say that. But
sure.
There are things that are happening in the marketplace, and there's that first generation of business owners who, it's time to transition to more professional management, and I think it's going to explode in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and do you see the market being? How do you see it split between, say, medical and, say, recreational?
I'll tell you my personal view as opposed to necessarily what the company's view is. I think what is going to happen with medical is the medical is going to go exclusively to the pharma. Big pharma is going to come in. That's what they're going to focus on.
Right.
And the reason for that is that you need to have consistent quality and consistent expectations from your product. They're the best people to be controlling that. There are some fantastic growers out there who do terrific medical marijuana, but I see that market reducing. If an average consumer can just simply go down to a store and buy a product, they probably will do that, as opposed to going through the process that they need to for a medical.
Since we've been legal, and I smoke marijuana and have, and the consistency of the product is becoming more and more important now. People try a product and they say it's not good flower, and that's out there, right?
Right.
So if you got, and you have great products and you're selling and you're making money, which is kind of a rare thing.
Yeah, it is, and it's interesting you bring that up. What we've noticed over the last couple of years is that the flower sale that we're seeing is continuing to go down, and I think this is true for most consumers in the marketplace. It used to be around 80% of our sales were flower. It's getting close to down around 50% now. What we're seeing instead is that all the edibles and the beverages market. That's where it's going to take off, and that's where you're going to introduce a whole new level of consumer into this. Someone who's not necessarily interested in smoking, but someone who will consume it in a different way.
Right.
And there's,
right.
there's terrific opportunities.
For sure, because there's the stigma of smoking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was going to say the edibles and the liquids, for instance. Do you think that's going to become a big thing, the liquid thing? Like people sitting around drinking infused THC drinks?
I personally absolutely do. I think that is going to be the absolute future of this marketplace.
Right.
Similar to alcohol.
Right.
When you go to a party, you go to a bar.
Yeah.
That is the
social
way of consuming it, and I think that's what we're going to see in the future. It may take a few years, but we'll get there.
Is there anything you want to tell the viewers at this stage, because we're going to be shutting off here soon?
I think I just want to reinforce that we're really excited about how the future is looking for us, and again I think we're pretty unique in this market based on the fundamentals and building up profit, and we're excited about where our future is going to lead to.
Sure. And well, we'd like to if you're getting to the point where you want to eventually go public, then we'd like to have you back and
wonderful, love to
and tell us what's going on. Your products look great. I'm looking forward to trying to find your products. I'm not sure I'm going to do it unless I go to Alaska.
Well, it's a wonderful trip.
Anyway, we're going to leave it there, Brad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Let's talk about Aurora. Recently, your financials, you more or less delivered on
Here are the headlines moving markets today.
If you're lucky to buy it 3 days ago at 37 cents,
and I think it has a lot to do with some of these smaller names giving really...
Recreational cannabis is here. It's quite dry. So I'm going to eliminate the stocky bits.
Welcome back.
Well, that was a good interview.
That group of people that run that company seem to know what they're doing. They're 3 successive years of positive cash flow, EBITDA.
Wow.
Revenues are, going to be $20 million this year.
Wow.
They're running it like a business. The gentleman, Brad Kerr, said, we're this is not about making news. This is about making money
for sure
for shareholders.
Yeah.
Now they're not public yet, but I'll tell you, this is one to watch. If in fact they do go public, and they may not. He clearly said there's different strategies.
Very good.
Interesting that second highest per capita usage of marijuana in the United States, like next to Oregon.
Wow. Alaska, we don't think of Alaska too much, right?
We had Terry Donnelly on the show a few times, and his Hillside Beverage is a company that has a non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic wine, and I've noticed today it's up a bit. And the reason I want to bring it up right now, because Brad mentioned that he thought one of the ways it's going is going to be beverages. So let's take a look at Hill Street here. Ticker is BEER.
Hill Street.
Let's BEER.
And I wanted to say hi to Mary and Jason and Carl Bowden in the meantime. JD says, bring back Ricky.
That would.
If you guys have any questions, definitely tell us what you're watching. I want to know. I'm curious. What tickers are you guys on right now? Everyone in the chat room.
Okay, so we're going to go back to back to beer.
This is beer.
Yeah, Hillside Beverage, and Hillside Beverage hit 22 cents today, or 23 cents, and we're currently at Just a minute, I got to put my other glasses on.
Let me pull
Yeah, it's
that
22 cents. It hit as high as 23, and that's the first time it's hit that number in a while. I'm just going to make a comment here. I mean, if Brad's right, and you've got a good beverage product infused in THC or
And then
CBD,
it's not just any beverage; it's beer. That's exciting.
and apparently they got a wine too that's got an award-winning non-alcoholic wine.
Mm-hmm.
So when Canada's ready to go in that direction,
Well, with Canada, let's
yeah,
get ready
and
soon.
nice look at that. Like the last, they just raised some money, so we'll be watching that.
Very
Well,
interesting.
the beer, and I will say it does taste like beer. Like I've
Have you
sat here
tried
on
it?
the set. Yeah, no, I'm just guessing.
Oh.
No, just kidding. It does taste like beer, and it's good. It's a good drink. It's a real good drink. I think Terry's going to do well.
Very good.
Okay, so why don't we take a look at some of the stocks that we've followed on a regular basis?
Yeah. So let's see.
And there's companies out here that are raising money, or they've announced their earnings, but most of them are still losing money. So the reactions aren't, they're muted to a large degree.
Well, we still have to keep in mind it's definitely still a new market. I think we keep forgetting about that, right?
Well, some of us are forgetting about it, I think. I'm going to put up Chiron. We haven't looked at that in a while. They got a lot going on. It's drifted off here, but we're up today. I'd like to think that there's lots of fundamental things going on there, and I noticed there was some news. They got final approval to close its previous Neta Growth.
This
Okay,
is
so they got
Chiron.
that done. Yeah, that was announced. Here we go. Yeah, so maybe this could be a bottom here with that long candle, the red one, and then it looks like we're trying to deviate from here. Time will tell. Another company I want to look at that went public, we haven't talked about in a while, is G-Tech Holdings.
G-Tech. Yeah, I've seen some talk about G-Tech
Yeah.
in the social media world. In the meantime, while you do that, we want to shout out our sponsors. And I'll do what Ed does. Wait, the other way. No, yeah, there you go. Halo. HaloCanna.com. Check them out. Did you get?
Yeah, it just seems like the other day they came out here.
See, I did the finger thing.
Yeah, so you know what? Here's one, and I had every reason to believe it was going to do well. It hasn't done so well. It's now
G-Tech.
right about as low as it's been. They announced that their revenues were only $100,000, and they had a net loss of $2.3 million. They got cash and cash equivalents. And again, I'm repeating it, but the way I read this, if they keep losing money at the rate they're losing, they're going to have to raise some money here soon, or do something creative.
If we looked at Chiron, there's some people asking about Chiron in the chat room also. Let's see what else. Jason says VFF, Village Farm. You know what? Why don't we look at Village Farms?
Okay.
That's an interesting company. Village Farms, VFF.
Yeah, just one second. VFF?
Yes.
Thank you for that.
And they do have a NASDAQ ticker as well. They're at
Okay.
$15 today.
Yeah. Well, this is the one of the companies that talk about as delivering, and it's around $15 today. It's been as high as 23. Wow,
it's not a
couple
downward-
of years ago it was like $1.50, $2.
That was before they started dealing with cannabis, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the companies in the space, you've got the 50-day moving average breaking down below the 200-day moving average, usually not a good sign. In this company, that hasn't happened.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, well, it look at this that trend broke, and now we're sort of going sideways, but it looks like there's some evidence that maybe we're rolling here and maybe trying to turn back up. I want to look at the biggest one again, weed.
Which one? Yes,
Because
let's check on that one.
it
Canopy.
I think we can't really talk about the industry unless we talk about Canopy Growth being the biggest in the industry.
I'd like to find out, what their plans are for the new CEO and new leadership.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Not a lot of action today. It's quiet. I see it's going by here, 43 and a quarter, 43 and a quarter. It's rolling over. The 50-day moving average has gone through the 200-day. So I think
I have a feeling, if it was my opinion, I think everyone wants to know what's next for Canopy, right? Who's going to be the leader? And I assume that until then, the psychology of the people are kind of on a pause, right? The mass consciousness is just, where do we go from here?
Yeah, well, you know what? The board is now controlled by one of the biggest beverage brands in the world, right? So they're obviously business people.
Of course.
And they're running businesses that have significantly more amounts of revenue.
So what will they do with our lovely
Well,
Canopy now?
they're sitting around trying to figure it out. That's what they're doing.
They better hurry up.
Yeah.
We want to know.
Yeah. Acquiring minds want to know. I'm going to switch over to Kronos.
Kronos, yeah. I haven't heard much about any plans of Kronos other than the fact that they have done that deal. Was it with Heritage, I believe? It was Heritage.
Not big movement here, only down 7 cents. Yeah. So this thing is right. The 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average have almost met. You can't really see it. I'm going to change the lines.
Sorry, I'm laughing because Jason in the chat room says Snoop Dogg for CEO. You know what? Let's try it.
Yeah.
I think that might work.
There's a spot there, a spot there, a spot there. I think if this thing breaks $18 by a few days, and stays down there for a few days, looks like it's going to start backing up a bit, and they don't. I don't think they've deployed all the cash they got from Altria. I'm going to take a look at. It's
not exactly clear where they're heading with all that cash, right?
Yeah, I just looked at the indices too, and the Midas Letter indices. There's not much change today. Which isn't bad considering we got a pretty bad day.
It is a strange day, but you know what? There's a lot of companies that are in the green.
Yeah, the sector is kind of green. We've got the big index is down. The other three are up. They're up small. They're down small. But let's just quickly go back to the S&P 500 and see what the broad markets are doing.
In the meantime, I'm just going to name some of them. I see that Sugar Bud is up almost 6%. Sugar Bud Craft Growers.
Right.
Who else is here? Oxley is up 476. They've been kind of on the move since that deal.
Oxley is what's the price of Oxley?
Oxley today, 7, that'd be nice, 476. Percent, sorry. The price, you're asking about the
80,
price?
I think it's
88 cents.
Yeah, okay.
88 cents.
Yeah, thank you.
476% up.
Yeah, well, they just got involved with Imperial Products. Now, the S&P, it really, really dropped off. It's coming back.
Yeah, what's happening right
quite
now?
a bit.
Let's see.
It's only down, looks like about 30 points. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see if this market can reverse and start getting back over that 3,000. Currently,
well, it looks like it's picking up.
Low, close 29.94. So we're down 22 points, 23 points. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too much damage in here that I can see. So we'll follow that closely.
I think it'll pick up. But again, I'm a positive person, right? So I like to see things a little bit more skewed to the positivity.
I'm gonna look at big marijuana stock here in the States, Tillery.
Right. And I just want to remind everybody there is a civic holiday August 5th. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so if you thought you're going to work, maybe you shouldn't. Yeah. Yeah, the movements, the day-to-day movements don't seem to be anywhere near as volatile as they were a year ago, 6 months ago. Tillery flirting with $40 here, $40.97 as we speak, $40.96, up 20 cents. But the candles, like the volatility is less. Like you're seeing smaller and smaller ranges. But that trend's still intact. And this company is well below its 200-day moving average. So not much happening. Oh, we got to bring up Trust again because
CanTrust was
it's had a good day today, hasn't it?
So let's see that. Let's see CanTrust. I was actually thinking about some of the things that could have happened because again, I don't know if all of our viewers know, but I have a specialty of mine that is social psychology, and I like to look deeply into what happens when these companies make these kind of, mistakes and what could be the driving force to that. And I figured that groupthink is actually a really big factor in a lot of companies' mistakes. So what groupthink is when a lot of people agree on things externally, but internally they may disagree. So for example, if there's a board meeting, and then there's a leader who is presenting at the board meeting, most people will usually say, yes, I agree. Yeah, you agree? Yes, I agree. You, John, you agree? Yes, I agree. That's usually what happens. But really in their head, they might be thinking, oh, what a terrible idea. How do I tell them that this is a terrible idea?
Right.
How
well, maybe
often
they don't want
does
to
that
lose their salaries or something.
There's many reasons why that happens, but it is something that leaders have to really be careful of because when groupthink happens, they may get the false perception of their team agreeing, where really there could be good points that that are being hidden from them.
Right.
So it's a tough situation, but all the leaders of any kind of organization keep that in mind, that you have to eliminate the groupthink, and the best way to do it is when people can be maybe anonymous. Sometimes like do an anonymous survey where somebody can just maybe fill out a card and drop it into a box, and then nobody knows who said this, but there could be really good points that you could pull out from your team members without having them, to speak up in the public view, because not everybody likes to speak up, and especially against the joint perspectives, right? So keep an eye on that groupthink because it's a really big one.
Can you see it when it comes by, or is it something that's a little more nebulous?
I think the glasses of ego could be a little bit in the way sometimes. So a lot of leaders, they have this perception of being right all the time.
Yeah, maybe all their glasses are shaded pink or something like that.
Take off the ego glasses and put yourself in the shoes of your team members and consider that maybe you're missing something. Maybe you're missing on key information. You know what happened? The Challenger exploded, actually. They say because the officials disregarded the engineers' concerns about some O-rings that were... So keep that situation.
The temperature change caused them to... Anyway.
And then I guess the engineers were kind of afraid to speak up, or maybe they were overlooked, and then that's what happens, right? So
that was a tragic event.
Yes, so was CanTrust.
I got the chart up. It's a positive day. It hit the highest it's hit since it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6 days. Not really going anywhere fast, but it seems to me more and more the only thing that they can do is sell this company, and that's what they're talking about, right? They're talking about, because I don't think that Health Canada wants to deal with existing management. They'd like to sell the assets.
It has to be refreshed. For sure.
Yeah, and I also saw where...
I wonder if there would be any interested buyers.
Well, there's probably people who want to buy the assets. Whether they want to buy the liability side, that's another story.
Yeah.
Because
there's
going to be legal action.
Now.
There's going to be legal action coming out of this thing forever.
Yeah, so they would be buying the legal action with it, right? So I guess
when you buy, yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think
Yeah.
basically they're going to sell the assets.
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw where somebody might lose all their stock options, which they have like 8 million stock
Oh,
options.
no.
Well, maybe they deserve to lose them.
My goodness.
Anyway, okay, so we've covered that one.
Gotta
Now
listen
I'm
to
going to
your
look at.
intuition, you know. Feel out those stocks. If you feel some kind of a friction within you,
Yeah.
sometimes it's a sign
I wanna
that
see
you
how,
know, you should really
gold-
be careful and go with your instinct.
Sorry?
Are we looking at gold?
Yeah. Well, I think that I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but I think it's significant that Germany's interest rates are getting more and more entrenched in negative territory. And Germany's the engine of Europe, and they're a big exporter. So if things are slowing down in Germany,
Yeah.
good luck.
Well, we had someone here from Germany today. I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool.
That happens quite often, actually.
James Albert says psychopathy at the top, Nika. Interesting. I
Okay.
don't want to, get too deep into that, but we all know what's going on, right?
I want to look
somebody
at. I
says-
want to look at Aurora Cannabis here.
Greed, Nika. Okay, Carl. Yeah, I could agree to that.
Yeah, again, another one of these charts where the shorter term moving average is through. You know, there's really no discernible from I see, although we're starting to see some bigger ranges, so maybe we're trying to find a bottom.
Aurora.
And I'm also do Afria while we're at it
Well, Afria has earnings on the 1st.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Again,
Is it tomorrow?
I'm so, when it comes to dates, yeah, I'm a little lost in dates.
Yeah,
but,
so-
yeah.
We're well below the moving average, but we've already had some issues with the company, and we seem to be grinding lower. A little bit weaker today.
And that's Afria. So it is also low, yeah. I wonder how the earnings will come out.
You know, we're starting to see a trend here. I don't think that, you know, it's still in a bit of a channel here towards the lower end. So it'll be interesting to see how they react to the results. And we don't know what the
Yeah.
results are because they haven't released them. Okay.
I'm just going to say something to the chat room here. And everybody click like for us. You know, it really helps us out. Puts the show into the broader world of YouTube, the more likes it has. So
Okay, I want to
hit
just
the bell
see-
button, subscribe, so that way you can get notifications when we're on. And James will be here on Friday, so definitely watch. He's going to have some stories to tell, I'm sure, that are very cool and interesting, as always.
Okay, well, gold looks like it's having a bit of a negative day here now. We rallied. I'm going to put up I want to see what that short-term chart looks like again. Yeah, looks. Look, the move in gold looks like it happened in anticipation of what was happening today, and this is a short-term chart, but you can see this is a 5-day chart. So the action here, rates are cut, expect gold to move up, but it's not. Now, whether it's falling because people are taking profits, it's difficult to say. But gold, and we talked about that. Sometimes it's baked into the cake, right? In other words, you know, the moves happen.
Already priced
And then
in.
like buy on rumor, sell on news, or buy
Yes.
on history, sell on mystery.
Yeah.
So or buy on mystery, sell on history. Let me get that right.
Our friend here is asking about thoughts on 48 North, and somebody asked before if James will be going to the harvest of 48 Norths, and they were doing the outdoor harvest.
That'll
right?
be coming up
so
soon.
James did say that yes, they're most likely going to that, right? So that will be something to look forward to.
Right.
Can we maybe look at 48 North, or do we have
you
something
know,
else?
just sure we do. Sure we can.
I think I forget the ticker. I think it's N.
But guessing right now is going to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
gonna kill. Well, I don't
Tell us the
kill some
ticker.
time.
Chat room.
I'm going to put up the
Friends.
HARV because I
Okay,
thought
in the meantime, we'll look at Harvest because they've been doing quite well also. Harvest, H-A-R-V.
Oh, that's the wrong.
Harvest Health. They're at 726 Canadian right now. They're up 6.45, 6%, over 6% for today.
That's a short-term chart. I'll put up a little longer term.
They had a nice spike. That was actually today in the morning.
Yeah. Well, it seems like there's some green candles here that are pretty wide range, but they had some. What was it? Was it Harvest that had one of their companies? If I got that right.
No, that was Origin House. Divested. That was Origin House.
Okay.
They're waiting for their deal with Cresco, and that is apparently closer than.
I'm talking about where the license couldn't get renewed.
Okay. Yes, that you're right.
Okay.
So there was something with Harvest to do with the licensing in the States. I could try to look for that.
Well, you know what? I just want to make just one final point here. Just that these three candles may be evidence that we're trying to find a bottom. So we'll see. In the meantime, folks, we've run out of time.
Again.
We're gonna say
Flying.
goodbye from Nika and Ed.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Halo. Remember Halo.
Check out Halo. Yep. HaloCanada.com.
I can't do this.
So
We'll
everybody click like, follow us, subscribe, and come back tomorrow. We'll have some more fun. My last, for now, day here, and James will be back on Friday.